Maeve McGuire started her illustrious career at Cleveland Playhouse as a curtain puller at the age of 5 and continued to study for the next 14 years. During those years, she appeared on WGAR's Fairy Tale Theater, a show directed by CPH's legendary teacher Esther Mullen. For 2 summers, Maeve studied at the Piers Mansfield School of Theater and Dance in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. At Sarah Lawrence, she studied theater and after graduation moved to New York, where she worked with the Repertory Theater of Lincoln Center in Cyrano de Bergerac and Marianne in The Miser. She also worked at Circle in the Square and appeared on Broadway at the Golden Theater as Christine in Mixed Emotions. Extensive off-Broadway and off-Broadway credits followed, including work at the Lucille Luttrell Theater, Jewish Rep, Ensemble Studio Theater, Equity Library Theater, La Mama, Spectrum, the Women's Project, and the Michael Weller Theater. Summer stock filled her summers for many years. She performed from Nantucket to Westport to Algonquin. Maeve starred at Boothbay Playhouse for 3 seasons. Television strongly shaped Maeve's career. She appeared on all networks from NBC to CBS with her memorable starring roles in The Edge of Night, Another World, As the World Turns, One Life to Live, Search for Tomorrow, and All My Children. She infiltrated TV through such diverse assignments as co-hosting on The Mike Douglas Show to appearing as the Dove Lady. Frequent appearances followed on Law and Order, Dateline NBC, Beacon Hill, The Eternal Light, and The Babysitters Club. Maeve appeared in 10 major films, including For Love of Ivy, 28 Days, A Perfect Murder, and 6 Degrees of Separation. One of her favorites was The Kid from Cleveland, which was shot in her family home on Derbyshire Road in Cleveland Heights and featured many Cleveland Playhouse actors. You can see a big poster for The Kid at Nighttown. From her early training at Cleveland Playhouse, Maeve has always had an abiding love for regional theater. From Anchorage to Chapel Hill, from Arena Stage to the Hartford Theater, Maeve has starred in productions at 14 resident theaters. She appeared at the Hong Kong Arts Festival and returned to her beloved Cleveland Playhouse to star in The Little Foxes, Another Part of the Forest, and Night of the Iguana. Maeve's husband, Richard Bianchi, was a prolific production designer and art director for film and television before his passing. Her father, Frederick T. McGuire Jr., was the first president of the Men's Committee from 1948 to 1955, also a founder of the Playhouse Club, and president of the Playhouse Board of Trustees from 1948 to 1950. Maeve's mother, Catherine, was a member of the company, president of the Women's Committee from 1945 to 1949, and a trustee and member of the Advisory Council. Maeve McGuire embodies the affectionate term Playhouse family.